This video, the third in the Getting Started series, will cover how to create a sketch in Fusion. Topics covered include creating a component, the line command, constraints, adding dimensions, and auto-constrain. In Fusion, it's always good practice to create everything as components. This helps with the organization of your design and simplifies the timeline. We will begin by making a component. Navigate to the Create menu and choose New Component. In the dialog box, enter Spool as the name and click OK. The newly created spool component will then appear in the structure browser over on the left side. To begin a sketch, click the Create Sketch icon within the Create menu and choose the front plane. For plane orientation, reference the cube located in the upper right corner of the viewport. The viewport's blue, red, and green lines correspond to the blue, red, and green lines on the cube. Having selected the front plane, we have now entered the sketch environment. This is indicated by the appearance of the sketch menu and the associated commands at the top of the interface, along with the sketch palette on your screen. To confirm that we're working in millimeters, navigate to the document settings in the browser panel on the left. If necessary, switch to millimeters by clicking the Change Active Units icon and select millimeters for the length setting. We are going to create the side profile of the spool and revolve it around a central axis to create a 3D representation of the spool. Let's start by drawing the vertical axis. Select the line command from the Create menu, then click on the 0, point on the screen. Move up vertically some distance and make sure the line snaps exactly vertical, and then click the end point of the line. We're not going to type in a distance or an angle at this time. When complete, press the Escape key to get out of the line command. To change the line to a center line, first click on the line to pre-select it. It will turn blue, indicating that it is selected. Then, in the sketch palette, choose the center line type. Begin sketching the spool's basic outline using the Line tool. Refer to the image in Exhibit 1 of the accompanying documentation for this video as a guide. At this initial stage, focus on capturing the overall shape and do not be too concerned with precise dimensions or perfectly horizontal or vertical lines. These aspects will be refined in subsequent steps. As you sketch in Fusion, you'll see icons appearing next to the lines. These are constraints, which ensure your sketch behaves predictably. For instance, constraints can force lines to remain horizontal, vertical, or perpendicular. After creating the sketch, I notice an issue. One of my lines isn't perfectly vertical. To correct this, I can use the horizontal vertical constraint found in the Constraint menu. Selecting this constraint and then the line will force it to become vertical. Additionally, I want the bottom edge of the spool to be horizontal with the origin point. Therefore, I will apply a horizontal constraint to both the corner of the spool and the 0, point. We can add a collinear constraint to make the two outside edges stay in line with each other. It is better to use constraints than to have two dimensions. That way, if you want to change the outside diameter of the spool, you only have to edit one dimension instead of two. Refer to Exhibit 2. Unconstrained sketch geometry is displayed in cyan. Once fully defined, these lines turn black. Fully constraining your sketch is recommended to prevent unexpected changes downstream. Dimensions can be added to further constrain this sketch. To add a dimension, select the Dimension command within the Create menu. Click the outer vertical edge, move your mouse, and click again to place the dimension. The blue highlighted text indicates that it's ready for input. Enter 15 and press Enter to set the edge height to 15 millimeters. As you add dimensions, your sketch lines might shift as the dimensions change their length. If this happens, simply click and drag them to put them back into their desired position. Dimensioning can also be done between points instead of lines. Simply select the first point, followed by the second, then position the dimension, and then input the desired value. Continue adding all of the vertical dimensions. Refer to Exhibit 3. To create an angular dimension, simply select the two lines. The dimension will automatically be applied as an angle. Because we created a center line to start out with, we can create diameter dimensions automatically by selecting the center line first, and then a vertical edge, and then place the dimension and enter its value. Notice that the value has a diameter symbol next to it. This is very handy so you don't have to do all the mathematical calculations yourself. Continue adding the diameter dimensions and the other horizontal dimensions. Notice as we're adding these dimensions that the cyan lines are turning black, signifying that they are now becoming fully constrained. Refer to Exhibit 4. After adding dimensions, a cyan line remains, and the pencil icon next to our sketch in the Spool Components Sketches folder indicates that it's not fully constrained. We aim for a lock icon instead. Let's use Auto Constrain to identify the missing constraints. Fusion added two dimensions, one for the top recess and another for the initial centerline axis. Click OK and modify these new dimensions to 4 millimeters and 40 millimeters respectively. Now you can see the lock symbol next to our sketch, signifying a fully constrained sketch. The only way this sketch can change is if we physically change the dimensions. Also notice that we have kept the sketch fairly simple. We haven't added any fillets or chamfers. We will do that on the 3D model. It is always a good idea to keep your sketches as simple as possible. We are now done with our sketch, so we can click on Finish Sketch in the main menu or in the sketch palette. In the next video, we will use our sketch to create a 3D model.